Hello, hello. Welcome everyone for another episode of the Self-Published in 30 Days podcast. Hey, it's the host with the most, your man, Darren and Palmer. So excited to be with you today for this episode. I have someone on here who I was just sharing with a little bit before we started the show, who's making a global impact. And I want to share a little bit about her. Amy Stefanik is a wife, mother, published author, and along with her husband, Matt, has been riding the entrepreneur roller coaster since 2002. Amy is the creator of The Entrepreneur's Wife, whose aim is to help strengthen and encourage the entrepreneurial family. Through The Entrepreneur's Wife, Amy coaches the concept of one shared vision in regards to the entrepreneurial journey. Amy, if you don't mind, if I left any gaps out in your bio, could you please fill in the gaps right now?
No, that's perfect. That's my life summed up pretty much.
Awesome. And so, Amy, could you speak to us a little bit about your book, if you don't mind? Could you give us the name? And you could have went so many directions as far as a book. Why this book?
Well, the name of the book is called The Untold Story of the Entrepreneur's Wife. And really, the book started out as just me writing down my life story, not really thinking I was doing it for a book, but just really just blog posts, just kind of writing, just getting it all out of me, because we've been doing this journey for so long. And what I found was when I started writing, it was very therapeutic. So selfishly, I just was writing like stories of our life, like things that I've learned, things that I've gone through, kind of the dirt and the grime from the other side of the entrepreneur's journey. And then after writing all of this down, I was told, you should write a book. And so I had all of this content already, and I was luckily blessed enough to be able to compile all of my blog posts and add to that to create The Untold Story of the Entrepreneur's Wife, of course, with the help of some amazing people.
Awesome. And I know it's not just me. You heard it here from Amy. So for those who are tuned in, who watch more than one episode, you know how I am about blogging and the importance of blogging. And for the bloggers out there, please listen to Amy. Package the content, get a team together, and please get that wonderful content out to people. I can't tell you how many people that I know who've been blogging for years, but don't have anything in print as far as a book with the great writings that they have. And so speaking of that, Amy, it's one thing to say that I want to do a book, but what made you believe that you could write a book when so many had failed at the task?
I think it was just naive. I was naive. When I start something or I think that I want to do something, I don't look at what everybody else is doing and if they succeeded at it or not. I just know that if I want to do it, I want to do it. And so I try not to think about everybody else. And so I was like, I want to do this. I want to put this out there, because I started going to events and speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs and their spouses. And when I would tell little snippets of my life and stories, or people would start reading my blog and I started getting letters and emails, I realized that there was all these people that felt the same way I did. And if my dusty corners was helping them, then I wanted to share it. And so I was like, let's just do it. Let's try. And did I think that I was going to finish it? I didn't know. I just knew that I had to start. And so I did. So I just, got it together, started talking to some great people that did finish books. Luckily, there are people that I've met that are great authors. And so they guided me along the way a little bit. So it was an interesting journey for sure.
And, I want to piggyback off what Amy just shared with us of the importance of those who are around you. You hear Amy sharing about the people she was able to connect with, those she was able to seek wise counsel from. And for so many out there who are listening, I get the emails, our team, we're responding continuously to those who for some reason think they can do it all by themselves. And so I can't tell you, it's really sickening to see someone who poured their heart out to end up having a book that's trash. And I'm not saying that the content was trash, but the loopholes. They let their aunt, edit the book. They let a guy at the local church networking event do the cover because he said it was pretty good. And now all of a sudden, you got a hot mess online, and it's damaging to people's brand that they worked so hard for, and it's not a great representation of who they are. So, you'll be shocked what you can get by, getting somebody something to eat with a sandwich, or while you working out, or just giving a call and saying, hey, I got this idea. I know that you've done this before. But could you share it with me, or even seek out, counsel for as, making an investment? It definitely will pay off. And I'm hearing that with Amy, that resonate with that story. Would you agree with that, Amy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, a lot of times when we have a really great idea and we know it's a great idea, we want to hold on to it really tightly and not share it because we're so afraid someone's going to take it from us. And so when we hold on so tight and we don't ask for help, we don't talk about it, we're not asking the universe, we're not allowing God to bless us and bless other people by helping us. And so I think that's a lot of times what holds people back when they have such an amazing idea for a book or a concept or a brand, is because they're like, I know this is good, and if I share it, then someone out there is going to take it. It's scarcity mindset, right? You think if I put it out there, then someone that has more money, that's more equipped, is going to take it and run with it. And it's just not true. If it's yours, it's yours. And if it's meant to be yours, it's going to be yours.
Scarcity mindset. And I don't know if you're reading my mind. I don't know if you a prophetess or whatever it is, but I don't know if you've been here in the office or whatnot, but I can't tell you how much that you are it's just hitting home with what you're sharing. I just had someone today sharing the same thing. Oh my goodness, I just don't know if I can let go of the content that I work for. I'm just scared. I'm scared that someone's going to take it and run with it. And I don't want to be rude, but I just want to give a news flash to most people. I don't see nobody running off with your content. You got a book of affirmation and poems. It's not like I can sell that to Elon Musk and get a deal for it. It's not like it's a patent thing that that I'm infringing on your patent rights. And so this scarcity mindset is hindering so many people that they can't even finish writing content because they're worried about, but if I do it, what about the book launch? What about the royalties? You haven't even created an outline yet.
Yeah.
And you're scared that someone's going to take I have people who will call, I need help with a book, but I can't tell you the title yet because I ain't got it copyrighted yet.
Yeah.
We're not going to risk the integrity of our company off an idea you got that we don't even know if you're going to finish the book yet. And so I'm glad that you shared that, Amy. And speaking of that, I want to, because you're doing so much, and you mentioned too as well, we picked up in the bio with you being a family person as well. Contributing a lot to your household. So I know people out there thinking how in the world is this young lady wearing all these hats? I'm trying to get it together with getting the kids from soccer practice. I'm dealing with trying to get out of yoga and missing yoga and trying to get back. So how in the world does she find time to create content with a schedule so busy? Could you give us some of the hacks or some of the keys that you use to create content for books?
Sure. Yeah. I think it's just structure. You make what's important in your life important because it is a priority to you, right? And so there are a few things that are very important to me. My family, my husband, definitely, and then my brand, the entrepreneur's wife. And so when I didn't have a structure in place, an outline of what I wanted my day, an intention of how I wanted my week to go, I just kind of floated around. And at the end of the week, I'm like, I didn't do anything. I couldn't get focused. But then once I started putting intention behind my days and saying, okay, I'm going to take this time from here to here and I'm going to write. For me, I can't just sit down and write. I have to be inspired. It's hard for me just to sit down and just bang out content. I can do it, but it doesn't feel authentic to me. And so I have a really great husband who has been an entrepreneur for a long time. And so when he knows, hey, I need this time, he kind of allows me to have that space. And, my kids are a little bit older. They're, 10, 13, and 18. And so when they know that mommy needs some time, most of the time they allow me to have it. And so it's just setting those expectations ahead of time. Say, okay, I'm going to get really deliberate with my schedule. I'm going to set the expectations with my family, and I'm going to be responsible for my day. And, that's how I keep my content. I write content almost daily, definitely weekly. And so that's basically how I do it.
Hey, for all the great husbands out there, round of applause. That's what I'm talking about. Great job knowing that you have to get something done. And I think that expectation or for others out there, making it a priority or putting it in the calendar and scheduling like, hey, mommy needs some me time. And so just like some of us might make me time for wine or date nights or girls night or guys night out or watching a game or whatever your thing is, we have to do the same. We have to take the same mindset when it comes to content creation as well. So many people out here, like, yeah, man, I just came from game. Like, wow, you just told me you couldn't get the book done, but you made it to the Dallas Cowboys game, for the annual day out, or you made it to, and I'm not saying you don't need to have those other times to get out with family, friends, and loved ones, but at the same time, you have to make your book, you have to make your brand. And I love what Amy brought about that, because the book is an extension to your brand. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure that you treat it as such, because it's going to have consequences, good or bad, for your brand, depending on how you put that product or that resource out. So, Amy, just going a little bit further with this, you mentioned the kiddos and you mentioned your husband. So I want you to share from the family perspective, what were their thoughts about knowing that they had that blocked off time for mom because she had to create content? And also, what has been the response for others that you could share with us where it was like, wow, my book actually matters. I'm getting reports or emails or the look in others' eyes because you create this and you're helping their family stay strong. Could you share some of those moments with us?
Yeah, I mean, my kids have grown up in an entrepreneur home. I mean, for many years I worked in corporate America, but for the most part, Matt's always been an entrepreneur. We've always had that mindset here. So they are used to us saying, hey, we have to get on a webinar. Hey, I'm working, I need this time. I need this quiet time. So it's not foreign to them, and they don't have a hard time saying, oh, okay, I get it. Do they come in the middle of an important webinar sometimes or a podcast interview? Yeah. Do they get the snap and point and the death look from me? Absolutely. But you know what? I don't try to pretend like I am not a mom, that I'm all business. And so if my kid runs in here, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's in the world. Guess what? I'm a mom. I'm a hustler. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a wife. I do it all. And my kid accidentally ran here. It's okay. It's not going to, ruin everything. And so I think that people try to say, I have to be so perfect. I have to be like the grinder. It has to be all this. In order for me to have this perfect content, this perfect brand, I have to be this perfect person. And it's just, you're always going to feel like you're failing. And so I lighten up with it, and just say, you know what? Are they supposed to act up? Are they supposed to give me a hard time about needing this time? No, they know better. But are they going to be perfect? No, and I don't expect them to be perfect all the time. So, it's just, you have to kind of roll with it and laugh about it. And then as far as like my book goes and getting it out there and seeing the response, it really started with my blog and writing my content and putting it out there, and people reaching out to me or responding to blog posts or writing me emails or, finding me online and saying, I had no idea there was someone else out there that felt the same way I did, and just pouring their heart out to me. I mean, pages and pages of letters just saying, this is what I'm going through. I'm on the verge of divorce. I don't know if I can do this. And it was just like, wow, people are trusting me with such a personal part of their life. And it was hard for me at first because their stories triggered me to feel like the downs of my life. And so it took me some time and some conditioning to be able to not be a sponge and just be a sounding board for them. And so, but that's what made me realize, wow, I'm doing something that means something. It's not about me. It's about, my life is helping other people. And so that's why I have to continue to do it. And so when I feel like, is this even matter? Or am I having a hard day? Or I don't feel like motivating, or if Matt and I are fighting, and I'm like, I can't even keep my life together. How am I going to help someone else keep theirs together? Then I have to remember it's not perfection. It's the imperfection that matters. And so I just have to keep going.
And so you heard it here first that Matt and Amy don't agree about everything. They don't have, both of them don't have halos around their head all 24/7. You know, the kids, you know, aren't perfect as well. So for those who are just looking at the magazines, the interviews, the webinars, and think that they're perfect, you know, none of us are perfect. They're just individuals trying to get better each and every day. And we hope that you all are doing the same. You know, Amy, could you give a few tips for those who are listening, for those entrepreneurs? We have, you know, the ladies and we have men on here who both are dealing with some of these issues. So I don't want to deprive the audience of just maybe a few tips that you could share with them, anything that you want to share with it, you know, on the understanding of how to deal with the entrepreneurial life with those who are listening in.
You know, I think the biggest things that's helped me, if I could give tips, it'd be, it's not, you know, not everything is urgent. Cut yourself some slack, and don't look at success as it's something down the road, because every day that you finish something, that you accomplish something, that you check something off, that's your daily success. And we tend to say, when I am this, then I'll be successful. And we miss all of the success along the way, and we don't give ourselves credit for the things that we are doing. And you're constantly chasing that finish line. And when you get there, you have kind of like a letdown where you're like, okay, is this it? Is this, or you never get there because you're, what might be immensely successful to other people is not it yet for you, which is fine, because you know, your journey is your journey. But don't forget to give yourself credit and celebrate the daily wins, the daily success, because every day that you work on your craft, every day that you write, every day that you're putting content out, every day that you're structuring your day and getting topics and working on your brand and thinking about things and strategizing, that is success. And so that's my biggest tip, is success isn't down the road. Success isn't a finish line. Success isn't a destination. Success is every day that you work on your craft. That is a success.
Wow. Now that's powerful. That's a value bomb right there. And so I want to just segue into that. Please, Amy, tell us, how can we connect with you, learn about your programs, other businesses that you or Matt have, that you, anything you want to share. We're open here for you on the Author Spotlight to share whatever you want to. Websites, social media handles, whatever you have, please give us to us, and we'll make sure we put it in the show notes as well.
Yeah, everybody can just reach me at theentrepreneur'swife.com. They can find my social media outlets. They can find any events or anything like that I'm doing, any kind of boot camps or anything that I'm doing is all on my website. So theentrepreneur'swife.com, you can go there and connect with me in different avenues for sure.
Awesome. I just want to tell you, thank you for coming on to the show today. I knew it was going to be a wonderful experience, and I was going to be able to take great notes. And I want you just to take us home, so to speak, with speaking to that young lady or that entrepreneur who might be a little bit more seasoned, who thinking to themselves, you know, I want to expand my brand. I want to get a book out, but they're thinking to themselves what you just brought up. But I don't think that I'm successful yet. I'm not Warren Buffett. I'm not Carlos Slim. I'm not Oprah Winfrey. I don't know why anybody would want to hear my story. Could you still share with that person the importance of them sharing their story with the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is uniquely them, right? Everybody has a story. Everybody out there has their highs and lows of the journey that they've been on. And guess what? Their lows can help someone else's when they're in their lows. And so the biggest thing when you go down that thought process of who am I, you know, all the self-doubt, all the things that we go through, there's one thing that you have to tell yourself and say it to yourself as much as you can until it sinks in. This isn't about me. Because when you start thinking, who am I to do this? I'm not big enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. It's selfish thinking. because you're only thinking about yourself. And when you're putting content out there, you're writing a book, or you're trying to do something like this, you're doing it because you want other people to read your work so that they can be blessed, so that they can be moved, so they can be educated. And so when you start thinking about me, this is all about me, you're taking away the blessing. And so you have to say, this is not about me. And you have to just do it. And you have to move forward, because you're just being selfish if you don't.
What else can I say, people? That's it. Thank you, Amy. Nothing but gratitude. I know what I'm gonna have gratitude on in the morning when I write my gratitude list out. I mean, there's some value bombs. I really appreciate that. And I'm speaking from a selfish place, even though she just talked about don't focus on you. Because with me and my wife and our kids, and we live that life, what you're talking about. And so it's an entrepreneurial household. So to have this message is so needed. And especially the communities and the people that we're connected with, they need this message, because it's not really, I don't know too much out there for us, like that's tailored towards our community. So it's some other stuff that doesn't really fit with our life, but I just wanted to say, I really appreciate it. It's been helpful for us. The things that my wife been able to pick up on that she's experienced from you has helped our marriage as well. Understanding, and we're on one accord more overall on the things that we're doing. So it allowed for me to serve my wife better. It allows for her to understand what I'm going, the kids on board. So it's amazing compared to where we were. And that's why I want to share for those who are listening, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this show. It didn't start off this way. So what you see with my wife, it's us investing and learning from others and seeking out wise counsel. And you have to do the same. And it doesn't mean that it's over with for us as well. We're still investing in each other still. And so that's the message that Amy's, preaching or sharing or evangelizing, whatever you want to call it, is because you can't quit. It's just like professional development or personal development or working out or taking a bath or brushing your teeth. You have to continue. It's a continuous process. And so, Amy, I want to thank you for doing an excellent job and helping our lives as well, and plus other people around the world.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And for those who tuned in today, I want to thank you. You all are the real MVPs. Make sure that you remember that this is the year for your new book. Until next time, be blessed and be great.